welcome to Sports Corner with Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier. And now here's your host, Ralph Williams and Smokin' Jim Frazier.
Oh yeah, some Van Halen for you and right now with Sammy Hagar at lead vocals. I'm Ralph Williams. Oh my gosh, is it great to be here today for Sports Corner Show every Tuesday right here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch platforms. Smokin' Jim Frazier, my co-host. Smokin' Jim, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. I'm ready for this one, buddy.
All right. Today we have at 4, starting as soon as we're done with our introductions here, we will have JT TOTH coming on, and he is from the draftnation.com group, who we do a lot of promotion for and promote them as well. And also we have my rant coming up, and we have Smokin' Jim's Wisdom. Later on, we have the fake Mike Tomlin press conference, and also we have Smokin' Jim's boxing report at 4:30. Wow, we have a loaded show today. 4:30, Al Curtis will join us from Amped Up Sports to talk about the New York Giants, because that's who the Steelers are playing this coming Monday night. All right, we are in the Mata eating. I don't know why that happened. Wow. Okay. Oh, no wonder we're in the wrong part. Okay, there we go. All right, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios, and they just renewed their contract with me today. So we have Mata for another year. I want to congratulate them for renewing their contract with us. And if you want to do any advertising with us, you can call 412-545-4317. We have very affordable rates. Mata renewed, and I'm working on some other new sponsors as well, and we have a bunch of other ones coming up later on. All right, my Ralph's rant today is Russell Wilson did it. We had the most passing yards in the history of this team in a long, long time. But number one, not only did Russell Wilson do it for the Steelers, we also won the game in true Steeler fashion. We played the game. We controlled the line of scrimmage, the clock, the whole 9 yards. It was a pretty decent game that I liked with the Steelers. And I hope that they can continue that against the New York Giants. My second part of my rant today is I have egg on my face. Because you know why? I said the Los Angeles Dodgers were going to bow out in the first round of the playoffs. They ended up in the World Series, and they're going to go up against a tough New York Yankee team. I'm rooting for the Yankees. It's good to see them back into the fold, back into the World Series fold, and I hope they win another one. Dodgers aren't bad. I just don't like the LA Dodgers at all because they pay all these prices for players and then end up laying an egg. But I laid the egg this time, and that's my rant for today. Smokin' Jim's Wisdom.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. Man, I always enjoy listening to your wisdom, man. I tell you what, I learned something new. I didn't know Wilt Chamberlain and Arnold Palmer had so much in common.
Yeah, I know. I know. He'll say anything, won't he?
But hey, man, I tell you what, man. I know most people are not going to give me credit, but you know, this is a natural born leader. I don't know why the national media don't like Russell Wilson. This is a communicator. This is a guy who's a 9-time Pro Bowler. Is going to be a Hall of Famer. It is such an advantage in football if you can run your plays from under center, because you can audibilize. You can get all your young offensive linemen together, especially at home games. And 75% of the time, Russell Wilson was under center, only got sacked one time, was making the big plays. When you throw the football downfield, it opens up your running game. And I tell you what, Ralph, I'm going to go out on a limb because I'm going to take him for his word.
Right.
Russell Wilson said he wants to play till he's 45 years old, like Brady did.
Yeah,
So
I would like him to play like that, Smokin' Jim, but I hope the Steelers can keep him. That's all I can say.
I would lock him up long term.
I would,
along with Dan All-Pro Moore.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's my rant.
All right, thank you, Smokin' Jim's Wisdom. Always a great one, of course. All right, coming on board here today, our first guest. Oh, by the way, before we get to JT, I'm sorry, JT, I have to mention this that this show is dedicated to my late father, Ralph Williams II, and my late nephew, Sean Negley Jr. So I keep forgetting to dedicate the shows to them, but I'm back with it again because I got the radio show back on and everything else is going on as well. Speaking of that, we'll put that up right now every Saturday, 2 to 3 p.m., 1250 a.m., 92.5 The Answer. Sports Corner Radio Show. Ralph Williams, Smokin, Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, Luther Dupree. The best #1 sports talk show on the radio right now is this show. And it's going to continue to be #1 because we're going to make some waves in this town. All right, JT, welcome to the program. How are you today? It's good to have you back. It's been a while. And tell us about Draft Nation a little bit. I know you have an event coming up Wednesday night. How's that looking?
Yeah, it's going good, guys. Draft Nation, we got a live podcast tomorrow night at the Birmingham Bridge Tavern out in Southside with ex-Penguin Eric Tangradi. Chris Mack will be on site to host, and me and him will be up there talking with Eric. And come on, if you're a Penguin fan, Eric Tangradi was a unique athlete when he came here. He was he was a high draft pick that really never panned out the way we thought he would, but still it'd be a fun guy to talk to, find out about his draft experience. But at Draft Nation, we're pumping along the NFL draft prospects right now. We're probably close to about 200 to 250 for the 25 draft. Get on there, type in a player's name. Hopefully you find them. If not, I'm working on 3 or 4 a day, every day of the week. So get on there, check out the draft. We're about all the drafts. So we have some hockey starting up as well. Of course, baseball season's over now. Baseball will be winter leagues and stuff, and then basketball.
Let me ask you this: you followed the Pirates this year. I'm hearing stories now, and reports are out there, and rumors that they're going to move Brian Reynolds to first base, so they don't have to go look for another first baseman. What is your thoughts on that?
I've actually heard from other media members that Brian Reynolds himself wanted to take some reps at first base because he's not a player who likes to DH. He's not a player who when he gets a day off, he doesn't like to sit on a bench and just hit. He likes to be in the field. He thought first base would be a way for him to stay involved. Me personally, I don't like it. The Pirates never have outfielders, and it seems like just getting rid of one of your solid guys in left field that has a great arm that
right.
He might not have the. I'm not real big on that. He don't get to the ball as good as this other guy does, but I think he's a fine outfielder, and I don't like it. But the luck we've had with first baseman since Josh Bell was in town, maybe this will help out if we can replace Reynolds in left, which I highly doubt.
Oh no, I understand that we have a shortage of outfielders now and everything else. I hate to put you on the spot with this. What's your plans? I know you guys always use Stage AE for your draft parties. What are you going to do in 2026 with all that ruckus going on over there on that end of town? Are you going to move the draft party to another site, or is it going to still be there?
Yeah, that's over my head. That would be Joe and Jay, the owners of Draft Nation. I think they have something planned. They have ideas, but I'm not 100%.
I'm just asking because I know for a fact I don't really personally don't want to be involved in all that ruckus over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's actually going to be crazy. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I'm sure we're going to try to find some. Sure, we're going to try to find somewhere. I know Stage AE will probably be out of the loop, but
okay. Yeah, because they're going to be using it for the draft, right?
Yeah.
Okay, JT, welcome to the program. Your thoughts on this week's Steeler game and where the Steelers move forward with Russell Wilson?
Thought they played one of their better games, like you guys were saying. I personally like Justin Fields. I thought Fields did a fine job. He didn't explode or nothing, but his numbers, he didn't hurt the team. 1 interception. I think if Russell Wilson's your guy, don't forget about Justin Fields. I mean,
right.
if you're in a game where it's 10-10 in the third quarter and all of a sudden the defense looks up and you got a series with Justin Fields back there, that changes a lot of stuff. But I do agree with what you and Smokin Jim said about the way Wilson looked. Like he made even little short passes that he made where he was moving around a little bit. He just looked more comfortable making the passes. They didn't put a ton of pressure on him. I'm worried about a team that does put a lot of pressure on them. I don't. It ain't the old Russell Wilson from Seattle. We know that, but
Right.
I still think a couple of his long balls. I think the guy that's gonna benefit the most is gonna be Pickens because he gives him ample 50-50 balls, and I'll take that, 3 or 4 times a game where we were never seeing that in the past. So I like the fact that he used Pickens down the field and threw the ball up, and Pickens made some nice plays. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Plus, you got a
Right.
couple interference calls, so it's a good way to get the offense moving.
Smoking Jim, any questions for JT?
Yeah, hey JT, man, always great to have somebody that's so knowledgeable about the draft. Um,
Thanks.
I've been for the last 3 years. I've been in the corner of Dan Moore. I think the best ability is availability, and by the end of the year, he'll have 70 consecutive starts. Never gets hurt. Now, in your draft report, did you have Fatano as that can play tackle or guard? If so, would you consider signing Dan Moore and moving the rookie to guard next year?
That's a good question. I mean, we did have Fatanu that could play both positions, and he was a guy that he was a first round pick in our guide and our talks about him, but we didn't expect. I still thought that Amari Mims. I was looking at him for coming to Pittsburgh. He went to Cincinnati, but it depends on how they look at the guards. I know we have some the guards are going to be moving here soon. Samalu isn't going to be here for a couple more years. So if you think if the team thinks it's the best move for the offensive line, I'd have no problem with it. My problem with that move is Broderick Jones good enough? That's the problem I have.
Yeah.
I think Dan Moore's besides that little stretch last year where he just looked terrible. Beginning of the year last year, Dan Moore just looked like he was getting manhandled. He's turned it around this year. I give you that.
And
But
no one's giving him credit for it, JT. Everybody who looked at what he did last year, like
Mhm.
Smokin Jim said, I'm starting to get on his bandwagon with this because I got to tell you something right now. Dan Moore might not be the greatest offensive lineman, but he's there and he does an adequate job of doing what he's doing. He had one holding call, and I think he let one through, and that was it. Other
if you
than
have,
that, Dan Moore's been solid
I
on
mean,
the offensive.
if he's your right tackle and Broderick Jones steps, Broderick Jones is the question mark. He's the guy that
That's the guy
because
exactly.
he is your left tackle, and Fatanu can't play left tackle. Fatanu's either going to be a right tackle or you're going to move him inside the guard. I hate to move a young guy. That's my only thing. If the guy and they were pretty high on him early in this year. I know he got injured, but he's a guy they liked. So I mean, if I had Dan Moore, if Dan Moore at the worst case scenario is my bench guy, where you can move a guy gets hurt at guard and Fatanu could move over, and you have Dan Moore as a depth guy. I think that's the greatest situation to be in. I don't know how they feel about him if they want him to start. So, and I hate moving. Me personally, I hate moving a new guy, a younger guy, in the guard if it's he's getting they were comfortable with him at tackle. So, but like I said, I think Smoking Jim, to answer your question, the whole thing comes down to if Broderick Jones, if he steps up at left tackle, because we saw last year that Dan Moore couldn't play left tackle, and that's where he was getting beat.
All right, JT Talk today is brought to you in part by Keystone Coach Works. Call them today, 412-833-1900, Keystone Coach Works. Look, if you need a wheelchair accessible van, call them today. Ask for Dawn. Tell Dawn Ralph Williams sent you. And I got to tell you, Dawn will set you up with the best model for you of a wheelchair accessible van. Look, don't make your life dull anymore. If you need to get around and you need a van, call Keystone Coach Works today. That number 833-1900, located on Route 88 at Library Road in Bethel Park. All right. And then we're also in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studios, who just renewed their contract with us, 724-201-0500, Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Okay, JT, let's talk a little bit about Pitt Panther football. But first, I want to ask your opinion about the new athletic director, your thoughts on him.
From everything I've heard about him, it's a great move. SEC guy. knows how to raise money. And in today's college football, you have to raise money. I mean,
Yeah.
this NIL stuff and is getting out of control. Hopefully it starts to come
Contain
back
it
to
a little
life a
bit
little
or
bit.
do something with it. Yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
got it. He knows. I mean, I think Heather Lyke was perfect for the years that she was here. Um, got some excitement around campus. Got some new buildings built. I think that this guy, from everything I've read, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not an expert on athletic directors by no means, but from what I've read and from what I've heard from past colleagues, this is a great move by Pitt, and I think you're going to see it on the field here, in the future with money they're raising for the football team, not just the football team, but all the
All the
club
sports.
teams
Yeah.
and all the
Volleyball's
sports.
doing really well. Women's
Yeah,
volleyball. That's going out there on ESPN. And then on top of that, I think it's Alan Green looks like he's going to be top notch here. National people have even said it made a good move, and I'm talking national.
yeah, that's
So
what I'm talking about. Like national people, ex-colleagues,
yeah,
like they love the guy, and
yeah,
then he's comes from a good background of schools that he's been with and proven he can raise money. So you can't, like I said, I think Heather Lyke was great. I think she was perfect for the last 10 years of what
right.
we had to do. But I think now now that the college landscape's changed, and you need to get a guy in there that can bring some money in, some big money.
Yeah, because I know they had to go get that assurance 412, and I know they had to go get that group to go out and look for money for funds for the NIL and
That's
things like
the Alliance 412.
Alliance. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
sorry, I
Oh, that's
keep
okay.
calling
Thank
it
you.
Insurance Alliance.
Yeah,
But anyway, Smoky Jim, any questions about Pitt football for JT or anything you want to add?
No.
All right, JT, tell me a little question here, and I know that Heather Lyke was fired because of NIL and financial differences. What happened to Rodney Hampton here? Did he all of a sudden come back as soon as Heather Lyke left? What happened here?
Rodney Hammond.
Yeah.
I don't know the inside scoop of that whole thing. It was
Seems like
strange.
Pitt's keeping that real hush hush here because no one could seem to. I can't even find anything out. Now, normally, sometimes I can reach deep
Yeah,
and find out.
the craziest
Nobody
part was
talks.
he got suspended but could practice. He was done for the year but could practice. That right away made me think, why would he want to practice when he's done? I mean, he was a
Suspended,
senior.
yeah,
Plus, he was a senior. It wasn't like he's going to practice for next year. And then I don't know if it has anything to do with Heather Lyke.
yeah.
I don't know if it was just a coincidence that she left and he came back, but it is a question that I've been around the Pitt people, Pitt media. I've not heard
Any stories?
any rumors or
I can't
anything.
find any stories. So I don't, or I can't find anything. Nobody's talking right now, so I don't know what's going on with that. But next, we play Syracuse Thursday night game. Your thoughts on this game? Syracuse not too bad. They're like 5-1 or something like that with this new coach. But I
Yeah,
see Pitt winning this game.
they got a good quarterback. I mean, people forget they got Kyle McCord who led Ohio State last year, so
Yeah,
they got a legit quarterback. They got a good receiver, tight end type guy named Rondé Gadsden, another really good player that Pitt's going to have to hold. But Pitt needed last week's game more than people believe. I mean, 17-15, their defense held up. They didn't have to rely on the quarterback had a bad game. The kid's a young kid. Holstein's young. For
yeah.
him to have a bad game like that, I think is great because he didn't.
Well, no,
He
he
comes
needs to
back and
have.
then.
I
Mhm,
mean, although we pulled it out by the skin of our chin.
mhm.
I mean, he needs to have a bad game so that he can fix it before we get into major playing against teams like Notre Dame and some of our other teams on the schedule. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
you got Clemson still. You got,
Clemson, man, Clemson's back in the fold now.
and don't
So I
forget
mean,
about we got to travel to SMU, and they're a better
yeah,
team than people give them credit
SMU,
for.
yes,
But I think Pitt will win, but I think it's going to be I think it's going to be
dog
back to
fight.
that. It's going to be back to that 31-28, 35-31. It's not going to be the California score. It's going to be on the higher side. 'Cause I think Kyle McCord, what he's done this year with Syracuse, has put himself back in the draft equation. Because I was actually shocked that he would. It's not usual to see an NFL type quarterback leave a program like Ohio State and sort of take a step back to Syracuse. I mean, he was starting at Ohio State. I think McCord's a better quarterback than the kid they have now, the Will Howard that came from Kansas State. I think this kid is I think McCord's as a good guy, a good quarterback. So Pitt's going to have their hands full. I think Pitt's legit. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to make a run in the playoffs by no means. Could they make the playoffs? They really could. I mean, they beat Clemson 8 years ago with a horrible team at Clemson. And Narduzzi has a way of playing up to good teams, but he has a way of playing down to the bad
Down
teams. So,
bad teams. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we've got through the first part of this, getting past West Virginia, Cincinnati, and then back-to-back weeks were the two games that I thought we would stumble, and we haven't. So let's just keep it going. I mean, that's a big game Thursday night. That place should be packed. It should be raucous. It should be a good game.
All right, JT, thanks for being part of the program. I know you have to go. You have other obligations. So thanks for being part of the show. And say hello to everybody. Smokin' Jim, you have anything you want to add before JT leaves?
No, great job, JT, man. Appreciate you, buddy.
Hey, Smokin' Jim, always great talking to you. And so, you ever need anything, got my number. You got my new email address too, so
Yes,
use that
I got
one.
your new email address. Thank you, because I had the old one and it came back on my email saying it wasn't available or something.
Believe me, I've gotten burned a couple times because I signed up for a lot of stuff. And it's gone now.
It's gone, yeah.
And there's no way for me to for me to know if you're emailing me. But that Draft Nation, JT at Draft Nation, and guys, get on www.draftnation.com. Like I said, there's a weekly pick 'em for the NFL if you want to get on there and just try picking some games. There's some winners every week, and like I said, if you have any prospects you want to look at in any of the four sports, of course the hockey, basketball will be a little bit outdated from last year, but we're starting to get some new prospects in there now as we go. So, but thank you guys for having me on. Always a pleasure.
You're welcome, JT. Have yourself a great day. Thank you for being on. That was JT Toth from the Draft Nation. When we come back after these messages, we're going to have the fake Mike Tomlin press conference and Smokin' Jim's boxing report, 4:30. Al Curtis from Amped Up Sports to talk about the New York Giants right after these words. Do you want great draft coverage, great draft information? Do you want it all about any draft? The NBA, Major League Baseball, the NFL. Let me talk to you today about Draft Nation. Yes, Draft Nation has the best coverage of all drafts, NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, anything connected with the draft. And they also have an e-magazine that they'll put in your inbox, $9.99 a month. DraftNation.com. Check them out today.
Digital Data gives you on-demand access to a team of professional web designers and data-driven marketers for an affordable monthly flat rate. Discover your website's earning potential today. At Digital Data, our goal is to provide small businesses with the tools and services they need to be successful online by utilizing our team's deep knowledge and experience. Call now, 866-276-9504. Do you need insurance? Well, I have an agent for you who has great customer service and will meet your insurance needs. Robin Campbell, Farmers Insurance and Bristol West Insurance. He will help you with auto, life, renters, fire, and more. Call Robin today at 412-366-3399. Tell Robin Ralph Williams sent you. Robin Campbell Insurance.
All right, RW Media presents the fake Mike Tomlin press conference. And now, it's the fake Mike Tomlin. Thank you for being here today. We won again. We beat the New York Jets, and Aaron Rodgers, the head coach over there. Devontae Adams, we were able to keep him out of the fray a little bit, and he did absolutely zero. I thought Russell Wilson played a really good game, and I thought that we did a lot of things that we normally don't do. And no counting out Justin Fields. If we need Justin, we know he's there. We know what he can do. And, but there's some guys on the New York Giants team that I took out to Burger King when we were trying to draft them that are on that team that are some really good guys. And I think this week against the Giants, they have, they have a really good quarterback in Daniel Jones and a really good coach in Brian DeBoe. And I think they're really going to these guys are really going to be giving us fits in a dogfight. But our goal is to win, and our goal is to get it there and get it done. All right, I'll take I'll take questions here. The guy with the Kango hat.
Hey, Coach Tomlin, is the Giants the worst team in football in the last 5 years?
Yeah, I would say so. They've changed coaches like I changed my draws, and so I think that it's a situation where they need to have a stability in the coaching like I have here. Even though I'm mediocre, I still have a job, and but yeah, that's where we are there with that. All right, anybody else have any questions? All right, thank you very much. All right, that was the fake Mike Tomlin press conference with the fake Mike Tomlin. Smokin' Jim's boxing report. Smokin' Jim.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. I tell you what, man. Everybody knows how I feel about Canelo Alvarez. He's a guy that started his pro career at 15 years old, went 13-0 as a 15-year-old. He got 70 wins. Fought everybody, man. Fought everybody. Went from 140 pounds all the way up to heavyweight almost. This is a guy, Ralph, that fought 22 former world champions and doesn't get any credit because I don't think this country likes redhead men. And he just gets abused. But you got another guy, man, on the other side by the name of Tank Davis. And Tank Davis is a tremendous talent. But Tank Davis talks about fighting all these different guys, but never seems to get in the ring with them. And he gets credit, but Canelo Alvarez fights everybody. I mean, one undefeated fighter after another, one former champion after another, and he gets abused. That's what I can't understand. These guys talk about they want this guy and that guy and this guy, and it never gets them.
It never fights
and,
them.
I talked to my brother. My brother's a millionaire out of Dallas, Texas.
Good. He can give us some money for the shows.
Yeah, I think. Well, he still got the first dollar. He still got the first dollar he ever made. But he told me he's going up to. He told me he's going up to Houston next month for the Tank Davis Lamont Roach championship fight in Houston. There go Tank Davis again fighting another bum.
Hey, I like Tank Davis, man. Roach. Anybody with the name of Tank Smokin' Jim, I like Tank Davis.
And I know people are scared to fight him. I know Tank Davis is a tremendous talent. He'll knock you out. But sometimes, man, we can't give guys credit for talking. Give guys credit that actually gets in the ring like Canelo Alvarez and fights anybody. And that's why you and I love professional wrestling, because they don't duck anybody. They fight everybody.
That's it.
And that's Smokin' Jim's rant. My brother's going to see Tank Davis fight next month in Houston.
Oh, you know what? He has the money to waste. If you're telling me this guy's a bum, who wants to go see that fight? You know what I mean? So. But anyway, all right, Smokin' Jim. Let's talk a few things here this week. We got the Steelers versus the Giants. Until we get Al Curtis here, he'll be joining us shortly. I hope he'll be here as well. But your thoughts on this Steeler game against the Giants this week? Don't sell the Giants out. They've been close in some of their games, and Daniel Jones any given Sunday can be a good quarterback. And if the Steelers, if T.J. Watt starts making some more tackles and gets involved in sacking the quarterback, I think we can sack Daniel Jones better than we did against Aaron Rodgers. Your thoughts on the Giants?
Well, the one thing about Daniel Jones that's underrated is a gifted runner. He can run, man. He can run with that football. Hey, we just got to win the football. We got to figure out a way to win the football game. A lot of people was opposed to Coach Tomlin going with Russell Wilson in this past game. I thought it was a great move. The reason I thought it was a great move, you do not want a veteran quarterback with an inexperienced line making a start on the road. They thought it was better for him to make his start at the Raider game. Hey man, it gets loud. It's hard to communicate with a young offensive line that's very inexperienced. Home game, the crowd is quiet. You can almost hear. You can basically hear Russell Wilson audibilizing and barking out signals on TV. And the offensive, everything was clear. The receivers, everything was great. So now you got Russell Wilson one more week before the bye week. So you got to find a way to win, whether you score 50 points or whether you score 20 points. But somehow, some way, you got to score one more point than the New York Giants score.
All right, we got to get Al Curtis up here. Al, welcome to the program, man. It's great to have you back. How you doing?
Thank you very much, Ralph. It's awesome to be here. You guys
All
are
right,
doing
Al
well.
covers the New York Giants. Tell us a little bit about what the Steeler fans. I'll say hello to Smokin Jim Frazier, my co-host. He's on by telephone. Smokin Jim, say hello to Al.
Hey, what's up, my man Al? What's going on?
Great, Jim. Great to hear from you, Smokin. And you know what? You were right on it. One of these teams got to score one more point than the other to win this weekend.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Tell us a little bit about the Giants. I know Brian DeBose had some struggles this year, lost some games, and stuff like that. What's going on with this team?
Ralph and Smokin Jim, it's all about the offensive line. That is where their problems are right now. They lost left tackle Andrew Thomas. They haven't been able to find a replacement. They're bringing in DJ Humphries today.
Wow.
For, the New York Post is reporting that for a tryout. He was an all-pro left tackle back in 2021, but blew out his left knee. So they're just looking, maybe he can make a contribution right now. It is really all about the poor offensive line play. That's it. I mean, they've only lost 2 games by more than 12 points. The Eagles and the Vikings. And,
I just said that too before you came on. I said the Giants were involved in some close games, dog fights. I call them dog fights, but that's where they've been this year, Al.
Yeah, all year long. I mean, their defense isn't the problem. And I'm looking at their stats, and some of these blew me away, Ralph. Do you know? Because you're looking at a team that is 2-5. I was a 2-4, 2-5, and you're looking at their record, and you're like, well, they've got to be losing the time of possession battle. No, they're winning the time of possession battle. They've run more offensive plays than their opponents this year. They have fewer penalties than their opponents, and they've given up less sacks than their opponents. You're looking at all that, and the turnover ratio is only a -2. It's not horrible. It's not; those are not stats you'd expect from a team that has 2 wins.
Exactly.
So
you expect, Yeah. All right, Smokin Jim. Any questions for Al?
Yeah. Hey, Al. I'm just wondering why a great player like Saquon Barkley is having so much success down in Philadelphia. In the last couple of years in New York, he didn't appear to be running the same.
It's all those guys up front, Smokin Jim. You know what? You got to trust the guys to block in front of you. And he was just starting to run out of trust up there. I'm just happy the Eagles are using him in the passing game, in the screen game. My fear, because I'm an Eagles fan, I grew up, I'm not covered the Giants, but I'm an Eagles fan. And my fear is when he went to Philly, they weren't going to keep him in the passing game, and thankfully they have. But that's it. It's all offensive line right now for the Giants. It's the quarterback's not even playing horribly. He just has no time, and he doesn't really have a running game.
Well, how in the world? Here's something else that really bothers me about teams. How in the world do you justify trying to run an offense with a poor offensive line? How do you do that? I mean, I don't get some of these teams. And if the Giants are doing this, that's a crime to Daniel Jones and the rest of the team.
Yeah, Ralph, I agree with you 100%. You guys, if you remember, yes, in Washington, Gibbs had the hogs. But also what made Theismann so tough to sack was the half roll. They moved that pocket halfway, and he wasn't standing in the same spot, so it became difficult to sack him. The Giants aren't doing any of that. The Giants have 2 tight ends that are both over 6'6" and both over 260.
And they're not throwing to him. We're using them for blocking purposes.
Even that, then go some 2 tight ends. Roll the pocket. Give them half the field. Because you've got receivers that just disappear. I mean, Neighbors is a real deal. Okay, there's no
Right.
question. He's the real deal. And there's some
Well,
other
I
guys
thought
there.
I wanted the Steelers to take Neighbors, but you guys got him ahead of us. So Malik Neighbors was one of the guys I thought the Steelers might be able to take. But Smokin' Jim was right when he said in his 37 years of scouting, he said that he'll be gone before the Steelers get the pick, and he was right. So
He's the real deal. He really
He
is. And they
Yes.
like him. They like him in New York, you know.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they've got some other guys to throw to, but he has no time to look downfield. So again, do you start just giving him half the field to look at right now and getting two of those receivers and a tight end, you know, at different levels, you know, deep,
Right.
20 yards and 10 yards, and just see if you can work that, you know, whatever it is, because what they're doing right now just isn't working offensively.
It's not working at all. Let me ask you this. If they have another bad year next year or this year, is Brian DeBow in the hot seat? Yes or no?
Yes, he's definitely on a hot seat.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So,
Yeah, because you guys change coaches like, you know, and you know, like we change clothes here, you know what I mean, or whatever. I mean, seriously, I mean,
yeah.
who Ben McAdoo? I mean, you guys had a bunch, Joe Judge, or I mean, you guys just had some guys who, you know, just haven't just didn't have it as a coach.
They've not found the right guy yet. And Dabo might, I mean, he was the right guy the first year.
Yeah.
So what's going on? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I think they got to give him, you know, yes, I think he's on the hot seat. I think he survives the year, and then it goes from there.
It goes from there.
Yeah, you know, we'll see. Since the Jets already fired a coach.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there you go. Hey, you know what? Robert Saleh's available. So, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
But,
Good defensive guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, he could be a defensive consultant to the assistant to the consultant or whatever. Remember Fast Times at Richmond High, the assistant to the assistant in the movie theater?
It's a good job.
Time. It's a good, it's a good one. Yeah. All right. Hang on a minute. Let's see. We got the comment section open up here. Let's see who's on. My friend Christopher Cole from Tampa. Bucks had such a depressing loss last night. Yes, Christopher, it was depressing because I was sitting there rooting for you guys because I can't stand the Ravens. So I can't stand the Ravens. But at least Cleveland lost, so that's good news. So I mean,
you know what? The one thing on the Bucks, and I feel horrible for Chris Godwin. Okay, I mean he's a class act, and that angle,
yes,
you know.
Yes.
But you know, again, where the Bucks made the mistake was going for two. If they kick it, it's still a 2-score game. Okay,
right.
All right, and then you go from there. But you know, you're talking about Chris Godwin being in the game. Well, the whole offensive line was still in the game. The starting offensive line was in the game. Nobody ever talks about the left tackle still being in the game when it might not be winnable.
Yes, absolutely. And a rookie center, with the guy they got from Duke. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I thought the Steelers were going to draft him, but they took Zach Frazier, so I had him on my draft too. So, but anyway, Al, I know you have a prior obligation after here. Do you have any final comments, Smokin' Jim, for Al, or anything you want to add?
Yeah, just real quick. I didn't know I had to go. Hey, listen, you guys got an outstanding defense with the Giants, especially the pass defense. But what makes Lawrence such a great pass rusher?
His get off and his hands. He is explosive, and he uses his hands probably better than 90% of the defensive linemen out there. So he's got that get off, and if you watch him, he doesn't let guys get to his body a lot of times. So it's get off and hands.
All right, what can you add today, Al, to tell us about? I mean, final thoughts on the New York Giants versus Steelers.
Again, it's you guys are running the ball well now. Okay, it's gonna be an uphill slog for the Giants in this game, especially with their current O-line. I think they're gonna be trying out a lot of guys on that O-line, trying to find something that works. Then they've got a little bit of a stretch where they do get Carolina, they do get a beat up Bucks team, so they've got to try to survive the next two games, and then hopefully get a little bit healthy on the offensive line or find a mesh that works and see what happens from there.
All right, Al, thanks for being part of the program. Enjoy your activity there that you're doing, or whatever, reporting or whatever you're doing there. Yeah. And so enjoy it. Thanks for being on the show. Sorry about the last minute call.
Oh, it's perfect. I'll leave you guys with a thought. You can debate this later.
Go ahead.
Is Dan Campbell this era's Mike Ditka as a coach?
I think
we
so.
all grew up
with Smokin' Jim.
He always reminded me of Bill Cowher.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, he does.
You know what?
He does.
Smokin'
And he
Jim,
probably gives the
right.
Campbell shower. You know, like the Car shower, the Campbell shower. You know. Yeah.
Smoking Jim, I think you're right. I like that. I like that comparison even better.
Yeah, exactly. I just hope you don't fall short like Howard did. You know.
Hey guys, thank you very much.
Hey, Al, I got one for you real quick.
Yeah.
Who's the coach that has the most or the most Pro Bowl wins?
The most Pro Bowl wins.
Yeah.
Would it be okay, so they lost. That means they always lost. Is it Tom Landry?
No, it's Bill Cowher. He has the most Pro Bowl wins of any
Okay,
coach
because they
the
lost
most
in the AFC
in the
Championship.
championship games. So he's been in the Pro Bowl quite often.
That's good. Hey
You
guys,
have a
I
great
really
one.
enjoyed the time. I hope to catch up with you next week.
Yes, absolutely. Have a good one, Al. Al Curtis, who covers the New York Giants for Amped Up Sports. Your thoughts, Smoking Jim, on Al?
Great job, man. The booking machine does it again, man. You bring on some of the best guests in the country, man, from all over the country, and this was perfect. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers were playing the New York Giants. The only thing that surprised me in the entire interview, you don't like the Baltimore Ravens. You must not like football, man.
I can't
I
stand the
mean,
Ravens.
you may
I
hate them
can't stand
because
them.
they're a
I
rival,
hate them because they're our rivals.
If you love football, you got to love the way they play and hardball coaches, man.
I don't.
So,
We'll see. Harbaugh always screws up against the Steelers. That's why I like the Ravens when they play the Steelers, because Harbaugh always makes stupid decisions. Like that time, a couple times he went for it on fourth down on that one game last year, and he ended up eating it. And then at one time he tried to kick a field goal, and we blocked it. So I mean, he makes these decisions that just going for it on fourth down, and all the time he always eats it. I mean, there are guys. I'm going to say this like Tom and guys who can coach, and their offense always wins the fourth down battle. But when it comes to John Harbaugh against the Steelers, he can't win the fourth down battle. So we're going to see what happens. But don't forget.
Well, Coach Tomlin and Harbaugh's about 50-50 on their wins.
Yeah,
since they've been playing each other. They're about 50-50. So
yeah, they are. They are exactly. All right, don't forget Saturday, 2 to 3 p.m., 1250 a.m., 92.5, The Answer, Sports Corner Radio Show, Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier, Claudio Rosano, and Luther Dupree. I have a couple things that, I don't like Chris Collinsworth very much because a lot of times he says bad things about the Steelers because he got his lunch eaten by Mel Blunt and Donnie Shell back in the day. He even admits the Steelers made him retire. So with this, there was a couple things Collinsworth said. I'm not going to tell you the one until you listen on Saturday to the radio show. The one thing that he did say that I disagree with him on, but one thing I do agree with him on is when he did the analysis of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Russell Wilson, and I saw this in the game, throws touch passes. Okay, I like the way he does his touch passes. Okay. And everybody over the years, Smoking Jim, and I think you'll admit, made fun of Mike Tomczak because he used to throw these lollipop touch passes. But you know what, though? Mike Tomczak was accurate. Russell Wilson with these touch passes is very accurate. Justin Fields is a gunslinger like Kenny Pickett. He throws these hard throwing passes that are like line drives that will knock you over kind of thing or whatever. Your thoughts on that statement by Chris Collinsworth?
Well, one, I like Chris Collinsworth, and I didn't realize until the day that you were still a fan. But Chris Collinsworth, I remember when he was a great quarterback for the University of Florida before they moved him to wide receiver. And he probably would have had a Hall of Fame career if he didn't have to play the Steelers twice a year.
Hey, Mel Blunt, Donnie Shell ate his lunch, man. So did Jack Lambert.
And Cincinnati had some good teams with Isaac Curtis and Trump at tight end. But I tell you what, man, listen, you're talking Hall of Famer, man.
Yeah.
To compare anybody, there's been 4 quarterbacks from the neck up that's been great, and that's Peyton Manning, Russell Wilson, and Brady. They study, man. These guys don't come around. You're lucky to get them once every 20, 30, 40 years, man. If you notice Russell Wilson was still at the press conference in his equipment because he's not like Mike Tomlin and most of these guys that craps on the local media.
Yeah.
He was in the locker room, but he didn't get a chance to change because he gives long answers to every question. He'll treat the national media and the local media and the TV all the same.
Yeah.
He has no respect for a person. So this is a guy, man. You look at his answers. I'm telling you, bro.
No, I watched the press conference. I did. I watched the post game.
If you ever get a chance to have Russell Wilson on your show, Russell Wilson will give you the best interview you ever had. He's not going to come on the show and say, hey, I'm on this podcast, I'm on this, but I'm going to be on this national part. He'll give the same interview that he would give to a national guy. You got to respect that, man.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's how he plays the game. He studies in practice. That's the same terminology he uses, man. He talks to those guys. They know what to expect before it happens because he prepared them in practice. That's why everybody was going to say, hey, put Russell Wilson. He's not a relief pitcher. No. Russell Wilson is best when he can prepare all week to play. If you put Russell Wilson in off the bench, he's not going to be as effective because he can get all 11 guys and raise their play to a whole nother level, and I think we've seen that. So I'm not going to beat up on Justin Fields because he's not a Russell Wilson.
I'm not going to beat him up either because, see, Justin Fields, Smokin' Jim, came from a bad Chicago football team, a bad team, okay? And Justin Fields didn't get the seasoning, the coaching that he could get, that he's getting here with our two good quarterbacks coaches. I think they're two of the better ones in the league, Mike Sullivan.
You know what I compare him to?
Who?
I compare this situation to Joe Montana and Steve Young.
Steve Young.
The only difference is Joe Montana and Steve Young hated one another.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are two Christians, and they communicate and they pull for one another. And that's the way things should be. They're teammates. All they care about is the win.
Absolutely.
And I said before this weekend, I said that Justin Fields is the future, that Russell Wilson is the present, but I'm starting to lean towards signing Russell Wilson long term, man, especially if he says he wants to play till he's 45, man. I got to believe this guy, man.
And I'm wondering what all the money he's getting from Denver and from and the money he's still getting from the Seahawks. He might stay here for a discount because I think he likes it here. I really do. And sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side, Smokin' Jim. We all know about that.
Well, there ain't nothing to like here. He likes the team. Well,
no. I understand what you're saying.
Come on, you're going overboard, Ralph.
No, I'm serious. He does. He's at PNC Park. He's downtown. He's walking around the city. He's talking to people.
You got to go somewhere.
I mean,
you got to go somewhere.
Well, I heard from somebody. My old producer Ryan told me he knows somebody in real estate and when he was looking for a house here, Russell Wilson, he was looking in Beaver County, not too far from the old Beaver County radio station. So
don't nobody want that Rust Belt out there.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
The Rust Belt, bro.
That's right. That's it. You got it.
All the steel mills collapsing out there. You don't want to live out there, brother.
Well, I heard he looked. That's all I know. So I don't know what he. All I know is he looked.
He overlooked.
I don't know what he took. I don't know what he bought. So for all I know, he could be living in a townhouse over at the south side there. For all I know, you know what I mean. You know,
he might be living with Coach Tomlin for all we know.
Yeah, that's right. Thanksgiving and that's right. It's time for Thanksgiving and Pickens. For Thanksgiving. Hey, Smokin' Jim, Mike Tomlin. The fake Mike Tomlin has invited us over to his tent, over to his office over in the South Side for food at Burger King for Christmas. I just wanted to let you know that. All right, Smokin' Jim, we got to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap things up. Here's some Steeler news, and then we'll wrap it up here for Sports Corner. What a great show we've had today. Coming up right after these words.
Do you need flowers for a wedding anniversary, funeral, or for your sweetheart? Call Alex's Flowers today. 412-661-6071. Alex's Flowers is a full-service florist specializing in a variety of flowers, plants, balloons, fruit, munch, gourmet, and plush. 30 years in the flower business, Alex has the right flowers for you. Also online at alexsflowers.com. Auto repair can be expensive, and sometimes shops rip you off. But I have a shop for you to fix your car the right way at the right price. Big Dog Auto in West Mifflin by the Allegheny County Airport. Oil change, state inspection, and more. Call today, 412-999-0191. For good car repair, call the Big Dog. Big Dog's Auto. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm here today to tell you about some great pizza. This great pizza is at the original Hometown Pizza in Moon Township, right on University Boulevard. Call them at 412-264-4444. Again, that number is 412-264-4444. Eat in, take out, and delivery. Look forward to you calling them. Tell them Ralph Williams sent you, and you get a discount on your order. The original Hometown Pizza. Are you handicapped and having trouble going to do your normal life activities? Well, I have the solution for you. A folding power wheelchair from Fold and Travel Mobility. They have the best models of folding power wheelchairs. Their goal is to provide best-in-class products that allow their customers to live a better and easier life. Call them at 1-877-GOT-FOLD or online at foldandtravelmobility.com. We look forward to you calling.
All right, welcome back to Sports Corner Show here every single Tuesday, 4 to 5 p.m. And then 5 to 6 coming up next is our Wrestle Talk Show with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin, Jim Frazier. Our guest today at 5:30 will be Mark Charles III, who is a referee for the independent wrestling circuit here in the Pittsburgh area. RXJ says, hello, Ralph. Thank you. We're getting ready to wrap things up here, RXJ, but thank you for being part of the program. We have Wrestle Talk coming up in a few minutes. All right, Smokin' Jim. Steelers today signed former Jacksonville first-round pick cornerback C.J. Henderson from the practice squad. Linebacker Tyler Matakevich will be returning this week as well. And Dante Jackson has a shoulder injury, will not play in this game. Nick Herbig and Zach Frazier are still healing. Your thoughts on this signing here, Smokin' Jim?
Well, Dante Jackson is going to play in the game. I just got that word right before we came on.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, because I heard he wasn't. So,
yeah, they did put that report out, but I got the little inside information that Jackson's going to play. Yeah, man. Hey, listen, you're going to need a bunch of players. We got these brittle brothers all continue to get these brittle brothers that can't seem to stay healthy. And Jim Brown went, his whole career, never even went to the trainer and got his ankles wrapped. And these guys is falling down left and right. But you got the Warriors like Dan Moore that never gets hurt and just underappreciated like Canelo Alvarez. But, hey, like I said before, man, you got these backup players. They got the opportunity to step in and make a name for themselves. Look at Beanie Bishop, a walk-on free agent, a little guy. And, hey, he made a name for himself on national TV with 2 interceptions, man. Really changed the momentum of the football game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Smokin' Jim, any final comments before we wrap it up?
No, I just thought that the Jets was a much more, I'm like you, the Jets was much more talented football team than a lot of people gave them credit for. Pittsburgh Steelers beat a good team. And I just love to watch Aaron Rodgers cry and whine, and blame his teammates after the game. So it's going to be interesting the rest of the year because I look for the Jets to pick it up in the second half
at the end of the game there, he slipped on a banana peel and he blamed Acrisure Stadium's people for that. So I just want to let you know that. So All right, for Smokin' Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams. Have yourself a great day. We'll be back here in about 5-6 minutes for a Wrestle Talk. We got some great wrestling news to talk about, and including our guest coming up at 5:30, Mark Charles III. So stay tuned for Wrestle Talk coming up next. For Smokin' Jim Frazier, I'm Ralph Williams. Stay right here.